Our Friday Night Heights triple header closes out in Como tonight. Auburn coming off its best performance since 2019, facing a rested and ready Missouri squad. Courtney Lau alongside 9-time NCAA champion and USA Gymnastics Hall of Famer Bridget Sloan, and Auburn comes in. They're going to start on bars, and Piper Smith had a career high on this event in their last meet.
And that is something to be spoken of because she was the leadoff this meet and scored a 9.925. This is an athlete, she really has just impressed me with her ability to get better and better each meet. And last week was just exclamation point, amazing job for her. And moving over to Missouri, they have two freshmen who have really stepped up, Jenna Swanson and Amaya Marshall. Freshmen that are really putting the work in. 8 out of the 24 routines competed by freshmen for this Missouri team. I'm really excited about this Missouri team and the confidence that they've been building. They're coming off of a bye. Only good things.
Yeah, we're going to see two of those freshmen, both of the freshmen that you mentioned in this Missouri vault lineup. Shanna Schreiber will lead off, but we will see Amaya Marshall and Jenna Swanson. Swanson will do her Yurchenko 1.5. But Sienna Schreiber has led off every meet, so she's got that experience to get Missouri started off on the right foot tonight.
And you took the words right out of my mouth. Getting on the right foot, that is what is so important for this Missouri team. A nice, clean Yurchenko full, just a slight hop. That's a 9.95 start value. Really trying to get the energy up. Nice and explosive, a little bit of a pike down. That's why she had to take that hop backwards, but a nice controlled landing.
Auburn will start on bars. We mentioned the youth from Missouri. Well, 5 of their 6 routines on bars are going to come from sophomores. Anna Sumner is one of those, and she's going to lead off.
And a nice cast handstand. Tkachev, very nice release for her. Wow, beautiful pack salto right down to the low bar. Showing off very clean lines, really elegant on this event. And a nice stuck double layup dismount. Just a sophomore, but what a staple. And right here, this pack salto, she just floats through the air. Shoulders are tight as soon as she catches the bar. Really nice transition. And a stuck landing. Very, very nice job.
Her career high was a 9.8 set against Alabama earlier this season. Just getting in that score from Sienna Schreiber, a 9.775. That brings us to Belle Gatula.
And this is going to be another Yurchenko full. And that is it. We call that a college stick. Not quite the control that the judges are going to want to see, but she does not move those feet. Great height off the vault. In warm-up, she was really flaring those arms out and had a little bit of a lack of control. Not tonight in the competition. Again, a little bit of a college stick there, but she is really excited, and that's going to be a good score.
All right, this is Piper Smith, who we told you about, who had a career high in their meet last week against LSU, and she won that event against LSU, who's number 2 in the nation.
She is going to be going into this bar routine super confident. Watching her in warm-ups, you could tell she knows she's capable of big scores. Little bit over on that half pirouette. The judges will take a slight deduction there. Very nice cast handstand and just the dismount. She stuck it in warm-ups. Not tonight. Shoulders were a little bit low. You saw she was a little bit short on that landing, had to take a hop forward, but very clean lines, clean routine. And right here, double layout. See her shoulders are a little low, throws those hands forward, just has to take a slight hop though.
Belle Gatula, a new season high for her, a 9.825 on her vault. Holland Patrick is up next. This is just her 2nd career vault.
Got to start somewhere, and watching her in warm-ups, she was really explosive on this vault. A Yurchenko full. A little bit of a lack of control, took that hop. Would have loved to see her absorb that landing and get that stick, but her second vault ever, really nice job. You saw she was a little crunchy on her arms on that back handspring onto the vault, but again, both of these teams are showing really clean sets.
Back over to Auburn on bars. Piper Smith, a 9.75. That brings us to Addie Sabados. Tied her career high against LSU with a 9.85. She's been on vault and bars every meet this season.
Little short on that cast handstand, but a nice turnover on that release. Just rushing a little bit here and there. Double layout. Again, would love to see these athletes absorb that landing so they can get the stick. She ended up taking a slight hop backwards. So far, everyone is off to a good start tonight.
And that's been big. Remember, Auburn did compete last week. They had their meet with LSU rescheduled for last week, but Missouri is coming off of a bye week. Maya Marshall up next, one of those freshmen we talked about competing in the all-around.
She is really, really exciting to watch. Yurchenko full. You can tell she's just getting into the swing of things, and that is so important for these freshmen. Gain that confidence. A clean vault, had a little bit of a pike down. You see right there, pikes it down, takes the slight hop, but again, she is just a freshman. She is just getting started.
She was following a 9.7 from Holland Patrick. Cassie Stevens back in the lineup once again for Auburn. Missed a couple of meets, but it's so key to have her in there because she does compete in the all-around.
She is really pretty to watch on this event. She had a little bit of mistakes in warm-up right there. Not tonight. Gets her hands over that bar to catch that release. And a double layout. A little bit of a shuffle on that landing. Ended up taking a hop, and it looks like she shuffled her feet just a little bit. I know they don't look like big deductions, but those little deductions are really going to add up. There was a couple tenths right there that I know we're about halfway through season now, which is crazy to say, but got to focus it on those little details.
Here's Jenna Swanson.
And that is an unfortunate fall for this Missouri team. She really is excellent on this event. Looked like she was rushing this vault. She twists a little early and just doesn't have the rotation. You saw her feet were out in front of her. Doesn't get that landing and ends up sitting it down.
So that'll be the score they would like to drop. Remember, 5 scores count. You can drop 1 score.
On the bar for Auburn, Maria Brooks.
Bart and Kathy, thank you. What a meet we saw between LSU and Florida, number 1 and number 2. But Friday Night Heights is not done just yet. We welcome you to Como. Courtney Lyle alongside 9-time NCAA champion and USA Gymnastics Hall of Famer Bridget Sloan. Not too far in this meet, still in the first rotation. Auburn on bars, and this was Aria Brush who just took a fall.
And she just didn't have the rotation. She was transitioning from the low bar up to the high bar, just didn't have enough juice in the tank and couldn't get those hands around the bar. She has 45 seconds to get back on the bar. And this is a moment where you really have to collect your thoughts, take a deep breath, and finish the routine as solid as possible.
Rush missed a couple of meets this season due to a shoulder injury. You can see the scores there so far for Auburn in this bars rotation.
And it looks like she is going to start this bar routine over. Nicely done there. Right back down to the low bar. Just the dismount. Nice double layout. Just a slight step there. Again, counting that fall. This is a score that they are definitely going to want to drop. But really nice. Oh, but she floats in her double layout. Again, in warm-ups, this Auburn team was sticking every dismount, but they look to be a little bit rattled here and taking a little bit of steps.
So this is a change in the Missouri lineup. Adelena Hoofendick will step into that 6th spot in Hannah McCrary's spot. What an insertion into the lineup for Hoofendick. So Darion Goborn steps up next to anchor this Auburn Bars lineup. Goborn had a 9-9 against LSU last week. She went 9-9 or better in 3 events against LSU. Remember, they're trying to drop that score from Aria Brush. Just the dismount here for Goborn, holds it and gets the stick. The extra effort from Darion Goborn to anchor this Auburn Bars lineup. Such an experienced athlete. And you see her really hold on there at the end to make sure she doesn't shuffle those feet. Hoofendick, we do want to let you know, a career high for her, a 9.75 as she was inserted into the vault lineup for Missouri. Talk about being ready when the meet calls. She certainly was. So 1 rotation in the books here in Columbia, Missouri, between Auburn and Missouri. Coming up when you come back, we'll hear from the amazing black women who are competing in this sport every week.
It's Black History Month, but really it's Black History always, especially in collegiate gymnastics these days. What does it mean to have community? Because that's what you all have now.
I would have to say that seeing, for example, like Gabby won the Olympics and then Simone went and won the next Olympics. And I think just seeing them up there and being somebody who was like behind them and got to watch them work their way to get there, knowing that like they have the same struggles and the same obstacles that they've had to overcome, it just really just makes it that much more special for you.
Talk about that extra sort of thing that Black gymnasts have to bring.
Just navigating those little standards, like people don't even realize that part of it. They just see us do the gymnastics, but like the Leos, our bodies, our hair, are like squeeze your butt and you're doing everything you can. You're squeezing it as hard as you can, but it's not going anywhere. Like that's how we're built. That's how I look. That's who I am. And I feel like that's really good for younger Black gymnasts to look up to, just to see us doing what we love to do, but doing it in our own way and embracing our culture and who we are as people.
How free do you feel to be authentic?
I went to a predominantly white school and I went through this time where I was like, oh, I want my hair straight. It was hard for me to kind of find my identity, but once I found it, I was like, man, I want my hair to be curly because that's how my natural hair is, and my natural hair is pretty. And while I was finding my curl pattern, getting my curl pattern back, I found who I really wanted to be and who I wanted people to see me as. So it's like still trying to fit in and find yourselves, but then getting to that point where you're just like, I don't want to be like anyone else. I want to be me.
I love that. And let me say, this might be the first time you've ever heard a curl pattern talked about on ESPN, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it.
Columbia, Missouri, 1 rotation down. Auburn leads by 0.125. Auburn heading to the vault. Missouri over to the bars. Here's how a collegiate gymnastics meet works. We'll see 6 gymnasts per team, but remember, you only count the 5 best scores.
And from those 5 scores, that is going to accumulate to your team score. So the team with the highest cumulative score will they will win. The home team tonight being Missouri, you saw them on vault. They're headed to bars, then balance beam, ending on floor. And Auburn, the away team, started on bars, will travel to vault, then floor, and end on balance beam.
So Auburn over to the vault. Now they are training 4 Yurchenko 1.5s on vault. We may not see them all in this lineup, but they're trying to build up because those are 10-0 start value.
And that is what is so crucial on vault. You're going to see a lot of Yurchenko, so that round off back handspring entry full off, which is a 9.95. If you can get as many athletes at that 10-0 start value, you are already a step ahead of most teams.
So this is Peyton Smith. It will be her 4th straight leadoff on vault.
A Yurchenko full. Lacked a little bit of amplitude. You saw she didn't quite get the height or the distance, but overall a nice clean landing, which is what the judges see last. A little messy in the legs and a slight pike down. That's a 9.95 start value. So we're gonna really try to build for this Auburn team, build off of this score.
Bars, what are you looking for on this event?
They're looking for handstands. We want to see those handstands in that vertical position, releases. You want to fly high, and of course you want to get a stuck landing.
This is Jenna Swanson.
And she is just a freshman and had a fall on vault, so this is a moment for her to really step it up and get that composure back. So far, she's doing a really nice job. Just a slight step to the side, but a nice clean set for Jenna.
They moved her into the leadoff last meet, and she's held that spot for tonight.
And she really did a nice job, a nice dismount, a little bit of leg separation at the very end, tries to get that stuck landing. Again, she is just a freshman, so she is still getting in the groove of things here.
Back over to the vault. Peyton Smith had a 9.75 to lead off, and now Piper Smith will step up, just making the 2nd appearance in the all-around of her career.
Another Yurchenko full. Right now, you're not seeing the amplitude off the vault. You want to see these vaults get as high as possible. They have great distance from the vault, but you see they're not quite getting that height, so they're having to pike it down, take a hop, take a step. Really want to see those stuck landings.
How can they make an adjustment to get that height on the vault?
Ooh, we got to get some block. We got to get some rotation after that round off, get those hands back and block off that vault. That is going to solve all of those problems. You're going to get the height, the distance, and then you can keep a clean, nice line throughout the vault.
Jenna Swanson had a 9.725 to lead off on bars for Missouri. Brings us to Holland Patrick, who's been in every bars lineup this season.
Has her big release here. She really struggled with that in warm-up, so nice to see her catch that Jaeger right down to the low bar. And a beautiful handstand. That is what the judges want, a held handstand. And that is a stuck landing. Definitely wasn't quite ready for that landing. You saw her knees buckle just a little bit, but gets it right back. You see right here, really has to fight for that landing, but gets that stick.
On the ball for Auburn, Adeline Sabatos.
Auburn has gone 9.75 in their first 2 vaults. Addie Sabados up next. Her season high, also her career high, a 9.85.
Very nice. Yurchenko full here. Had to pike it down. Again, I know I've said they're lacking that amplitude. Without that amplitude, you got to pike it down to make sure you land on your feet. So getting that amplitude in these vaults is really going to help everything overall.
For this Missouri team, really looking to bounce back after a meet 2 weeks ago. Remember, they had a bye last week, but 2 weeks ago against Florida, not the score they wanted, but they've had some time to talk about that and really work together as a team.
And I loved when we spoke to Shannon Welker. He said just that. We took this bye and we were really smart about it. had one-on-one meetings, which is so important.
This is Chelsea Christensen. A little too far over on that handstand.
A little too far, and unfortunately was not able to swing out of it. That is going to be a fall.
That'll be the score they look to drop.
Line change into a double back. Gets the stuck landing, but unfortunately, that is a fall. Not what Missouri wants to see on this event. And she just needs to squeeze a little bit tighter. She wasn't quite ready to hit that bar. When she grabbed it with her hands, you saw her whole body kind of shift. Really unfortunate.
So Auburn made a quick change to the bottom of this vault lineup right before the meet started. This is Cassie Stevens now in the 4 spot.
And we saw her warming up with a 1.5. Only going to see a full tonight. Very smart move. She had a little bit of a struggle with that 1.5, but nice job, nice and clean. A little bit of a pike down. Almost had a little, she lat rotation there. Her shoulders were a little bit forward, ended up taking a hop.
Auburn has gone only 9.75 or 9.77 so far on vault. No 9.8s just yet. You see Shannon Welker in his 8th season as Missouri's head coach. He said they really benefited from those one-on-one meetings they were able to have during the bye week, and it actually gave them some time in season to do that. Sometimes it's hard to do.
Absolutely, and they're so crucial. You really build that relationship.
Here's the freshman Amaya Marshall.
And a nice transition down to the low bar, a little bit off on that bail. Just a freshman and really taking on a lot this season so far. Really nice job. Overall, very clean bar routine. She was a little bit loose on her bail, but finishes with a nice high, half in, half out. Would love to see those legs stay together a little bit more, but really nice job.
Yeah, she's taken on a huge role. Shannon Welker told us maybe a bigger role than she thought and they thought when they originally started the season and she came to Missouri, but she's handled it well. Cassie Stevens got a 9.675. They will look to drop that score. This is Drew Watson.
And this is a 10-0 start value. This is a Yurchenko 1.5. Really nice job. I love the excitement that she has after every routine she does. As a senior, she knows. I mean, right here, huge amplitude. That's a blind landing. Knows exactly where she is, gets that landing. Really nice job.
She's had to work so hard to come back from an injury around Christmas time on the bars, but has made her way back into at least 3 events for Auburn consistently, and that's huge. Next up on the bars, after a 9.825, the highest bars score for Missouri tonight, this is Elisa Sharametta.
Very nice release. Little short on that cast handstand, just rushing a little bit here and there. And a unique dismount, blind change into a 1.5 twist. You are not going to see another one of those tonight. Does that blind change, 1 flip, 1.5 twists. Just a slight hop, but overall, really good job.
Drew Watson tied her season high, a 9.875, the highest score for Auburn on vault. And now the anchor, Darian Goburn.
And she is capable of a big score here. A little bit of lack of rotation there. Had to take a step backwards towards the vault. You'll see right here. Really nice block. It looks like she just flares open a little too early and gets her shoulders behind her feet. But with her experience, she can control that landing, just takes that step backwards.
On bars from Missouri, Elisa Sharametta scored a 9.775. In the anchor spot would be Sienna Schreiber.
Nice bail to handstand, holds that handstand. Wow, so far really, really nice job. Very clean, very precise. Just a slight hop on that landing. Would love to see these teams just absorb those landings so they can get that stick. But holds that handstand out of her bail. Caps it off with a nice double layout. Just a slight shuffle of the feet backwards.
She had a great performance against Florida last week. Sienna Schreiber won the bars and beam titles against Kentucky earlier this season. And then she had her season high last week on bars, a 9.9 against Florida. We do want to let you know, Darion Goburn, a 9.825. So Auburn was able to finish really strong on the vault.
And that's what Auburn really is exceptional on the power events, on floor, on vault. And they really have come a long way on uneven bars and balance beam. And you're going to see beam tonight. These are events that you have to really take a step back sometimes and focus in on the detail. And Auburn is doing that. You saw with their bar scores, they've been focusing on the landings, the handstands, the little minor details that really add up in the big picture.
So Sienna Schreiber gets a 9.875. Next, when we come back, a look at Auburn's huge performance on floor last week.
And as a reminder, you get the book applause by Texas.
Back here in Columbia, Missouri, number 19 Auburn and Missouri battling. The Tigers on top by 0.125. This is where we get to my favorite part, which is floor. We're going to see a lot of great dance moves. Courtney Lyle and Bridget Sloan with you. And speaking of floor, Auburn looked fantastic on floor against LSU, especially how they finished so strong. The last three athletes went 9.9 or better.
And that is something to say because that is so impressive. They are a power team. If I'm going to say it, they're a power team. They bring it on floor and on vault. Drew Watson, career high, 9.9. She is a senior. She is living for these moments. And then Darion Goburn, the queen herself. She is so captivating on this event. You have to watch her. And you will see tonight just what I mean by that. I mean, she brings it every week.
Yeah, a season-high floor score last week against LSU. And you can't miss that Darion Goburn routine. It's coming up, so stay with us. Meanwhile, Missouri will go to beam. This is an event that they struggled on in their last meet. Last season, they were ranked 14th in the nation on beam, but this year, 41st. It's been a struggle, and they haven't had Helen who is out for the season with an ACL injury. That's huge on beam.
It really is, and having her out obviously means you have to put someone else in, and they probably weren't quite ready for that. But this is an event that you really have to take a deep breath and trust yourself. This is a make or break event. Balance beam is 4 inches wide, and anything can happen on this event. If you are off just the slightest, it can throw you off completely. So just being confident in their beam routines and remembering that they are talented. I think that's something that we don't say enough. These athletes are so talented, and they need to know it.
Yeah, Missouri's had time to regroup and get ready for this event. We will see them on the beam coming up next. And plus, Auburn on floor. Darion Goburn, a routine you can't miss. And Drew Watson, so solid, both on the floor. When we come back next Friday, our gymnastics doubleheader starts with number 1 Florida, a huge win tonight for them. They'll take on Kentucky next week. Bridget and I will have that meet for you at 7 Eastern. Then Missouri is at the barn in Fayetteville to take on a really good Arkansas squad. They're 5th in the nation. You can watch it all here on SEC Network and the ESPN app. Next week's Friday Night Heights. All right, big moment here for Missouri. They're going to the beam. Belle Gatula is going to lead off. They had errors all over this lineup 2 weeks ago, but they have had time to refocus. I've got a good feeling about it.
I love that because I do too. I'm glad that you mentioned that. I have a good feeling too. Watching them in warm-ups, they looked really solid. And again, they're coming out of a bye week. So they have had the mental time to really take a break, take a step back, and focus on the confidence that they know they have. And Belle is going to start. She has a triple series here. Back handspring, layout, step out. A very slight balance check, but you see her arms kept moving. She kept that momentum going.
These jumps coming up, that's what she's really worked on. When you see her do that in her routine, she's improved so much in that area.
Jumps are definitely something you don't think to work on. But she nails them tonight. As an athlete who did not work on her jumps, they did trip me up sometimes. So maybe if I had worked on them, I might not have had the wobbles.
You did okay.
Really nice dismount. That was a really strong start for Missouri. Getting that momentum and keeping it going is going to be key to this beam lineup. And Belle did a phenomenal job. Nice gainer full. Gets the stuck landing. Wow.
First on the floor for Auburn, Aria Brush.
Great start from Missouri on beam. Auburn will be on the floor. Originally, we thought we would see Piper Smith leading off in this event, but it will be Gabby McLaughlin, and they've kind of worked this routine to play to her strengths, so I'm really excited to see what she can do tonight.
Watching Gabby in warm-ups, she's got some power in her tumbling. You're going to see her fly high. One thing that I love about her floor exercise is she is very controlled on her landings. A nice jump right into her dance. You're going to see a lot of athletes do a jump right into their dance to avoid any type of deduction on the landing. And she has so much fun on this event. Always a smile. I love the way she works with her eyes. You see there, just draws people in, draws the crowd in, judges.
She looks so controlled, too, in every movement.
Double pike, a little bit of lack of control there, got a little bit excited, but stays in bounds, which is always important. Really nice, solid start, controlled on those landings. Right as that double pike, she threw her head back just a little bit early. So you round off back handspring, double pike, and see right here, throws her head back just a little early. Would love to see her control that landing a little bit more, but had so much fun with that floor routine.
We've seen two pretty good leadoffs so far in this rotation for Missouri and for Auburn. Next up will be Sydney Schaefer on the balance beam for Missouri. And I love this. Shannon Welker told us week one, we were working on her confidence at the start of the season. Now she's been in every beam lineup.
And building confidence is one of those things, it's hard to do because the season is so short and you got to get in those lineups. And when you have the depth on a team, it can be tough. But once you get in your lineup, solidify that spot, that confidence, you just radiate confidence. And really nice series there. She did back handspring, layout step out.
She's following a 9.875 from Belle Gatula.
The way she moves on balance beam, you see her hands all the way through to her fingertips. She just follows the movement so nicely. Just a slight hop back, but you would never know that Missouri has been struggling with this event by these first two athletes. They look strong, they look confident. Right here, back handspring, layout, step out. Slight balance check, but gets those arms back. Solid position there. And then just a little under-rotated, has to take a hop backwards, but very, very clean.
Yeah, props to this Missouri beam lineup. Remember, these are the same athletes that they used 2 weeks ago and struggled. They've just put them in a different order, but they are answering the call tonight. Morgan Lee Oldham up next on floor for Auburn, following a 9.775 from Gabby McLaughlin.
Double pike there. I think she stayed in bounds. I didn't see any flags go up. Little close to that line. Round off 1.5. Right into a front layout. I love the reaction at the end of her passes. Floor is one of those events you really get to see an athlete's personality come out. I think there's so many times you think an athlete is a little bit shy, and then they get out there and compete floor, and it is a full-on dance party.
Yeah, sometimes just hearing the music they pick.
Oh, absolutely. It is so fun. And a very nice, high, controlled double tuck. Really nice job. These teams are going to be neck and neck for this third and fourth rotation. And a double pike. Let's see if she might have gone out of bounds there. That is what we call a gift if the judge didn't quite see it, the line judge. But no question there. Very nice controlled landing on that last pass.
You can touch the line, but you can't go over the line.
Correct. If you go over the line, that is a deduction, so sometimes the judges blink really long and they don't see it.
Can we just have a moment for the Missouri beam lineup right now, because they have gone 9.875 and then a career high 9.85 from Sydney Schaefer. This is Hannah McCrary.
They needed that week off to get those one-on-one meetings, build that confidence, and get back on track. And I spoke a little too soon. She had a balance check in her front toss, and then that is a fall. That is going to be a 5-10 deduction. Seems to be a little bit rattled.
This will be the score they'd want to drop.
She really just doesn't seem confident in her skills. Her dance is beautiful, but the skills, she's not quite finishing. Not quite getting those leaps and jumps to where they need to be in that 180 degrees. Not the beam routine she wanted. And take a look here with this fall. It's on her series. It's a handspring layout step out. And she is just not over the top of the beam. You saw her shoulders, her hips, everything was to the side. Couldn't save that one.
On the floor next for Auburn, Olivia Hollingsworth.
Well, Olivia Hollingsworth is next. You're looking at Cassie Stevens here, but Hollingsworth getting set to perform. This is just a freshman for Auburn. We have seen her in the all-around this season, not tonight, but she did have a really nice performance on floor against LSU.
Huge open, tuck full in. Very difficult. She did not grab her legs. So when I say open, you're going to see a couple passes tonight. Open tucks. Very, very hard because you really got to squeeze that core to keep that tuck position.
She's following a career high 9.75 by Morgan Lee Oldham. They're trying to get her more expressive on this event too. Open up a little bit.
And that will come with time. It's hard sometimes because you're on this floor exercise, doing this routine, which takes a lot of energy, and then you're supposed to make it look easy. It's crazy. A little bit more experience, a little more confidence, and she'll be right where she needs to be. Front through to a double tuck. Nice control. Auburn is really showing a lot of control on their landings. Staying inbounds, which is always important. Really nice job. And you see this pass, front tuck step out right into a round off back handspring, double tuck. Nice and controlled landing.
Missouri's looking to drop Hannah McCrary's score on beam. Amaya Marshall is next. They've been challenging her to get more consistent on this event.
And coming after a fall, she really needs to dial it in and just know her skill and her confidence is there.
Shannon Walker told us they had built in a plan B, if you will, for every athlete competing. If they did have an issue with the athlete before them, they could change a pass, change their acro series, something they could go to.
So far, she's doing a really nice job, very solid. And I'll tell you what, coming up with one routine is hard, but coming up with two routines, that's just impressive.
Remember, Amaya Marshall, just a freshman in the all-around tonight.
Nice jumps. You can tell she's a little bit nervous. She's shuffling those feet and those toes just a little bit. It's hard coming after a fall, whether you're a freshman or a senior. It definitely is tricky. Landed a little bit lock-legged on that dismount. Ended up taking a pretty significant step, but stayed on the balance beam, trying to get this Missouri team back on track. But right here, you see she opens up and just doesn't absorb that landing and ends up taking a pretty significant step to the side.
On the floor for Auburn, Cassie
Olivia
Stevens.
Hollingsworth for Auburn. The freshman had a career-high 9.8 on floor. Next up is Cassie Stevens, just a sophomore. Remember, she did miss a couple of meets. She looked at her coaches last week against LSU and just said, I'm so happy to be here. I mean, that feeling of competing.
Oh, it's a feeling, it's hard to describe the feeling of competing because it's gone way too fast. 4 years definitely flies by, so it's a very different when you are there not competing. When you're sitting at home, it definitely is not the best, but when you're there and you can't compete, it's really tough, and it makes you want to get back out there, and that is what Cassie has been wanting, and that attitude, that drive is really important for this Auburn team. Keep that energy up.
She did a really nice job of setting the table for their two final athletes on floor, Darion Goborn and Drew Watson last week.
And I love that she set them up for those big scores. Like, hey, I got the foundation, you guys build, go for it. And this team has a lot more depth than I think they give themselves credit for. That is a stuck double tuck. Really nice job. Wow.
Well, tomorrow on the SEC Network, we will have a full day of men's college hoops, highlighted by number 11, Alabama, hosting 12-7 Georgia. That one's coming up at 3:30 Eastern. You can see it right here on the SEC Network. Amaya Marshall did tie her career high with a 9.7. Remember, they are trying to drop the fall by Hannah McCrary. Elisa Sharametta steps up next.
She has a really nice season average, 9.825. That is a solid average. means that she's got that confidence. And we watch her arm movements from her elbows to her wrist to her fingers. They just flow. Aggressive on those landings. As a junior, she's got the experience under her belt, and she is really showing it off tonight. Nice front toss, just the dismount, finishing this really beautiful beam routine. And the full turn, of course, can't forget that.
Beautiful.
And a stuck landing. Wow, really, really nice job. Just a junior and really just so composed. But this handspring layout step out, watch her arms. They go directly to that finish position. And then a gainer pike off the beam and gets that stuck landing. Really nice job. Attacked by her teammates in the best way possible.
What a great night, a great bounce back for Missouri on beam so far. All right, get ready. Darian Goburn. Love this routine. Her brother did the choreography for it. It is totally her.
Huge open double tuck. I mean, she truly is, she's a queen on this event. She is so engaging, and you watch her facial expressions. I mean, if you are at this meet right now and in that arena, you are dropping everything, stopping what you are doing, and watching this routine.
She had a career high 9.975 last week against LSU. Got a 10 from one of the judges.
Let's see a 10 from both judges. I would love to see that tonight, and so far, just such a fun athlete to watch.
Little wave over to the judges' table. Love it.
And a beautiful double pike. We talk about confidence so much on balance beam, but you got to bring it on floor, and wow.
I don't think she could bring it anymore. That was awesome.
That was amazing. This first pass, double tuck, open, doesn't grab her legs. Really nice job. One thing that she does so well, she gets to her finish positions so fast. You see right here, right to her lunge. That is experience right there.
We'll wait on her score, but Elisa Sharametta just blew her career high out of the water because she got a 9.95 on that beam routine.
That is
Sienna
what Missouri
Schreiber
needs.
Sienna Schreiber is the anchor.
Back handspring layout step out. Really nice job. She actually could have had a balance check there, but moved so nicely, so aggressive.
Well, she does have a bigger acro series pass, but they have put in that option to narrow it down, to change it a little bit. So we just saw the two moves there.
And she's an athlete. She brings so much skill. She has a whole nother series that she can do. I mean, that is really, really impressive. Nice switch half. And that was quite the combination. Ends that with a stuck landing. I mean, she brings the balance beam truly to life. handspring, huge layout step up, but you see she was a little off and then got it right back. Nice gainer full and gets that stuck landing.
On the floor for Auburn, Drew Watson.
Drew Watson will anchor this floor lineup for Auburn. Darion Goborn, a 9.925.
Drew has a big first pass. We'll see if she'll do it tonight. Double Arabian, dances out of it. We're gonna see if the judges take that because that was impressive. She landed a little bit short, and we're gonna definitely replay that because she dances right out of that first pass. Drew had such a great meet last week. She really does take every single competition like it is her last. I mean, she has done a remarkable job this season as a senior. Brings the experience, the skill you saw right there. Nice double tuck. In this first pass, this is a double Arabian. It's a blind landing. She is a little short and just dances right out of it. The judges are definitely going to take a deduction, but really impressive that she has that experience, that air awareness. Nice double tuck to finish that routine.
And well, Missouri has a season high on the beam, a 49.25. Well deserved. What a regroup for Shannon Welker and his crew on the beam tonight. Emu team from Missouri, a season high on that apparatus for the Tigers. They are in the lead by .075 for the first time tonight. We mentioned this is the anchor of a triple header here on SEC Network. We had #1 Florida at #2 LSU. Trinity Thomas, this is not a mistype. These are her scores from the meet tonight. A 39.9, tied for the 5th highest all-around score all time. Florida won the meet by .1 after trailing by .2 most of the night.
Wow. That is incredible.
I mean, what can you say?
I actually thought it was a typo. I thought it was a typo. I'm not going to lie. I was like, wait a second. She is so incredible as an athlete in the gym, outside of the gym, but you would never know when you talk to her. She is so humble, and it is such a treat to watch her. I mean, she truly is incredible.
Yeah, just incredible, and incredible to see two 198s put up in the same meet earlier tonight. We do want to let you know some news this week. The SEC Gymnastics Championships have made the move to Huntsville, Alabama. Just a little side adjustment, more centrally located due to the ongoing impact of COVID-19. Friday Night Heights will continue a week from tonight with a double header. We'll get to see that Florida Gators team who put up that 198 plus tonight. They will be in action taking on Kentucky, followed by Missouri and Arkansas. That's next week. Lineup. You'll notice the pink in the stands. It is a pink out meet, some of my favorite meets of the season. And Missouri has put out a couple of photos where, you know, everybody unfortunately knows somebody who's been affected by cancer. They've had their family affected by cancer. So there's so many athletes in this meet competing for those who have fought cancer, who are battling cancer right now, and for those who continue to battle. And so it's such a neat reminder to see the pink on the floor tonight. Props to this Missouri team too. What a performance on beam that we saw from them, Bridget, after they really struggled 2 weeks ago in their last meet.
Courtney, they talked about how they had this not so great meet. We're really kind of nervous about balance beam. They blew it out of the park tonight. I mean, the scores alone, they had a fall. Hannah McCreary had a fall. They bounced right back. And Elisa with a 9.95. I mean, they really fed off of each other and did exactly what they were supposed to do. They did their job. They stayed confident in their skill and in their routines, and they came out on top.
Yeah, so impressive. A season high 49.25 on that event as a whole. So Missouri will now move to the floor. Auburn moves to the beam, and this is their best event for the Auburn Tigers. They are 15th nationally on this event. And Aria Brush will lead them off.
Aria is a speed worker on balance beam. She will not stop moving until her feet hit the mat on this dismount. She works so well.
We've been trying to increase her workload since that shoulder injury, so first time we're seeing her on the beam.
A nice aggressive handspring layout step out. Fights for that landing, stays on top of the beam. You mentioned that she's just coming back on this event, but she really knows how to bring it. I mean, she's got big skills. She's got impressive dance that she flows right through. And she's in the leadoff. She's setting the tone for Auburn right now, and that was a great beam routine. She had a little bit balance check, but finishes with a nice gainer full, gets that stuck landing. Off to a great start.
Over on the floor, Missouri has put Amaya Marshall into the leadoff spot for the first time. Shannon Welker told us they wanted to start strong, and they feel like Amaya Marshall could do that for them.
She's only a freshman, but man, she has got some power on this event. And with power comes control. Let's see if she can control these landings. Front through the double pike. This is Amaya's final event for tonight as an all-arounder and a freshman. We talked about the workload that she has, and Shannon Welker even said, I'm kind of surprised that we're putting so much on her, but she has been handling it beautifully.
Props to her for that. That's a lot of mental work, too. First time competing as a collegiate gymnast.
Really impressive. Little bit of lack of control on that double tuck, but stays in bounds. And this first pass, this is a front tuck step out, round off back handspring, double pike. And then finishes with a double tuck. A little bit of lack of control there, ends up taking a pretty big step back. But just a freshman, really, really nice job.
You can see the kind of power she has, too. That's really impressive. Aria Brush with a 9.75 to lead off for Auburn on beam. And now we will see Drew Watson, who set her season high 9.85 in their last meet.
Nice handspring layout, step out. Drew has a tendency to be a little rushed on balance beam. You can tell she's really working on finishing each skill. Nice leap to jump there. Just the dismount. Nice round off 1.5, gets the stick. You see this handspring layout step out. Shuffles her feet just a little bit, but dances right out of it. And finishes with this 1.5, fights for that landing and gets the stick.
On the floor, for Missouri, Sienna Schreiber.
Here comes Sienna Schreiber. Just needs to keep this routine clean. This is very easy for me to say, routine clean, and she will take over that lead in the all-around. I'm gonna leave the rest of this to you, Bridget.
Well, Courtney, she knows how to do a good floor routine. She is a very experienced athlete on this event for Missouri. A little bit of lack of rotation there. She took a step forward. Leading up to the second pass. Now to dig deep here. Front 1.5, layout step out. Such a beautiful pass, so clean and controlled. Nice job, just a little bit of a lack of rotation on that first pass. Had her shoulders and her chest down a little bit too much, ends up taking the step forward, which the judges will deduct for. But this second pass, front 1.5, nice, clean, controlled layout, step out. Really a beautiful pass
On the
right there.
beam from Auburn, Piper Smith.
Drew Watson, a 9.825 on beam for Auburn. This is Piper Smith. She struggled a little bit on this event in their last meet, but she does have a season high 9.9.
And if you look, you can see Piper definitely uses mental cues, which is really important on balance beam. You'll see athletes actually say them out loud. And that is a fall, not what Auburn is going to want here. They're going to look to drop that score. Beam is very much so a mental event. Can rattle you very easily, or it can make you feel on top of the world.
We saw Missouri regroup from a fall very well. Auburn can do the same thing.
And a back handspring, 1.5 twist. Nice finish. Unfortunately, that series, she was just off to the side and couldn't save it. We're going to take a second look here. Back handspring, layout, step out. That front foot just turned in and just couldn't stay over the top of the beam.
Well, Thursday, we've got some great women's basketball for you here on the SEC Network. At 7 Eastern, Zia Cook and Aaliyah Boston lead number 1 South Carolina against number 16 Tennessee. And then Auburn looking for that first SEC win. Will try to upset Rickea Jackson of Mississippi State. It's all right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. So the judges are conferring right now in the middle on floor. We do not have a score just yet for Sienna Schreiber. But what are you looking for on floor, Bridget?
Well, I am not a judge, obviously. But when I'm looking at floor, I'm looking for big tumbling. I'm looking for high, you see the landings, but difficulty. You want to see these big double layouts. You're going to see some full ins here, but the artistry is really key here. And that is something that I think sometimes you forget about. You think only about the tumbling and you forget all about the dance. So keeping those clean lines from your elbow to your wrist to your hand and just keeping that movement going. And then, of course, staying in the floor, not stepping out of bounds is always important.
Well, Missouri's trying to build off of that great appearance on beam. Belgatula steps in next. Sienna Schreiber will be the score that they try to drop, a 9.425.
And when we talked to head coach Shannon Welker, he even mentioned Belle puts a lot of pressure on herself. And it was affecting her mentally, it was affecting her performances, was able to take that step back and really just let herself breathe. She has amazing gymnastics and can showcase so much here.
Sometimes as a senior, you put a lot of pressure on yourself because you're supposed to set the example and hold everybody to that high standard. And she was able to take a step back, and that's really helped.
Well, and that comes from experience. It's very easy to put pressure on yourself. It's a lot harder to take that pressure off. And that just comes with confidence and just knowing that the skill that you're doing, you know how to do it. They've done these routines hundreds of times. And she has a lot of fun on this floor routine. Lack of rotation in that double pike, ends up taking a hop and a step forward. Just kind of ran out of gas, it looked like. Was really showing off the artistry throughout that routine. But right here, round off back handspring, double pike, she just doesn't quite get that rotation, ends up putting her chest over her feet and has to take that step forward.
On the beam for Auburn, Meredith Sylvia.
Well, on beam, Meredith Sylvia is in the same place she found herself last week. Up next on beam after a fall, and she did a beautiful job of regrouping and rerouting this Auburn beam lineup.
If there's any athlete you want to come after a fall, it is Meredith. You talk about regrouping. It's amazing. These athletes, they are a team, but when you're up there, it is just you in that event. And when a teammate falls, of course you feel terrible and you honestly just want to help them back up, but you got to focus on yourself. And Meredith did that last week, had a beautiful beam routine. Front aerial, handspring, handspring. And I heard this from a choreographer that I know. She actually said these athletes almost surf the beam. And Meredith does just that. She doesn't stop moving. You see from her facial expressions to her artistry. It really is beautiful to watch. And a nice dismount. Wow, really nice job getting this Auburn team right back on track. Coming after a fall, she's so confident on this event. Right here, front aerial, back handspring, back handspring. Watch her arms. They go right up to where they need to be and gets the stuck landing on that dismount. Really nice job.
Wow, so impressive and so composed. Belgatula had a 9.7 on floor. Jenna Swanson is up next. Has gone 9.825 or better in their last 3 meets.
And just a freshman here. She's got power, she's got grace. Really the perfect combination right here. Something that has been so impressive to me about Jenna is just the way she handles pressure. She had a fall on her first event on vault, ended up sitting it down and just bounced right back, had a great bar rotation, took it to beam, and now is on floor. She really brings the experience of an upperclassman just as a freshman.
Well, she's been competing in 3 events most of the season, so may not be a freshman anymore.
Exactly. Final pass here. Really nice job. Controlled those landings, had fun out there. It's such a fresh a breath air to see freshmen really loving competing, and she does just that. Nice double pike, controls that landing, gets right to that lunge. Front layout into a 1.5 twist. Really impressive.
Auburn, Gabby McLaughlin.
Meredith Sylvia, a 9.85 on the beam. Now we go to Gabby McLaughlin. She actually won the beam title at LSU, and she's a walk-on. She had a career-high 9.925.
Very nice control on this series. Handspring layout step out. Right now, Auburn just needs to be clean, concise, confident in their movements. And I'm talking about skills, I'm talking about dance. Balance beam is all about being confident and counting on those mental cues. And a gainer right off beam, and that is a stuck landing. Wow, Auburn is really getting it back here tonight. They had a fall. You would never know by those 2 athletes. Nice dismount. Really, really impressive. Her teammates so excited for her. Really nice job.
You think it makes a difference, too, that this is the 5th meet of the season for these teams when it comes to regrouping from a fall?
Oh, absolutely. It's all about, you have to learn how to do that because gymnastics is a sport. Anything can happen. So being able to handle that and handle the pressure, handle it all, is really, it's something that you just have to learn how to do.
Jenna Swanson, a career-high 9.875. This is Elisa Sharametta.
And we saw her on beam with a huge 9.95. Taking that experience and that confidence to floor.
Bridget, we just got Gabby McLaughlin's score in. A new career high, a 9.95 for her.
It is going to come down to the last routine here tonight, which I have to say I'm really excited about.
Yeah, me too.
Gearing up for this final pass. Nice 1.5 inch a front layup. Step out. Really nice job. Missouri's coming off of a bye from last week. This is a well-rested, energized routine. This front aerial, really unique skill right there. Wow.
On the beam for Auburn, Cassie Stevens.
Wow, so we told you, Gabby McLaughlin, 9.95 career high for her, and now Cassie Stevens should be really confident stepping up there to anchor beam. Needs just a 9.875 to win the all-around.
Very nice handspring layout, step out. You sometimes wonder if a bye hurts a team or can help a team. Auburn competed last weekend, but they really are doing amazing tonight with their confidence in their skill, with the ability that they're bringing to the table. And then Missouri is this well-rested team, so you really don't know which is better.
Yeah, both teams divided by just 0.05 right now.
And a nice front toss down to her knee. Slight balance check there on that wolf turn. Covers it nicely with dance. And a round off 1.5 and gets the stuck landing. Wow, sticks are contagious tonight on balance beam for Auburn.
Let's score on the floor for Missouri for Elisa Sharametta.
And a front toss right down to her knee. I don't know how you teach that, but she does it so well. And then nice 1.5 gets the stuck landing. Really nice job.
A solid beam lineup for Auburn. We'll wait on that score. Our final routine of the night, Hannah McCrary on floor. Elisa Sharametta, a 9.9.
And Hannah did not have the beam rotation, ended up having a fall. This is her opportunity to prove that she can get it right back. Front layout into a front 1.5, sticks the landing, no lunge necessary. Nice controlled double pike. Such an expressive athlete. Uses the whole floor. Really covers it all tonight. Wow, really nice job by Hannah. Bounces back after that fall on balance beam. Head coach Shannon Welker has got to be impressed with this Missouri team tonight. They really stepped it up. And take a look here. Double pike, such control on the landing, and her teammates go wild. I think they're actually jumping higher than she got height on that tumbling pass.
So Auburn's score is final. We're waiting on that score from Hannah McCrary. But so much you can say about this Missouri team as a whole. To take that bye week, to use it to their advantage, and come back and be so solid tonight is impressive.
It really is. And, you know, when we talked to Shannon Welker this week, he said, you know, the season hasn't been quite what he expected, but they have just been rolling with the punches. And tonight really proved that they're taking that step forward. They're getting prepped and they're getting ready for this postseason, because postseason is upon us. Whether we like it or not, it's coming. And we got to be ready these athletes have to know, have to be ready. They're in the SEC.
Amaya Marshall is the all-around winner tonight. The first win for her in the all-around of her young career, but a 39.075. And we did get that final score in. Hannah McCrary goes 9.875. So this Missouri team gets a win over number 19 Auburn tonight. Not done from Como just yet. Missouri does get the win inside the Hearn Center with a 196-175. This was the meet Missouri needed, a season-high score for them, and their first win of the season, a 196-175 to give them the win over number 19 Auburn inside the Hearn Center. Wow, Courtney Lyle, Bridget Sloan back with you. So good to see Missouri, who really struggled 2 weeks ago in their meet against Florida, bounce back. That bye week must have really helped.
And that's what it's all about. It's being able to maybe not have the best start to a season, have some bumps in the road, but getting it back. I mean, this was a huge step for Missouri and getting ready for postseason. The confidence is being built on balance beam, which is where they've really struggled. And you saw it tonight. I mean, no team tonight had a perfect meet, but everyone was able to get it back. And Missouri really proved themselves that they can take this back to the gym and just improve even more.
Yeah, and Missouri did a really nice job of when they did have a mistake, they were able to regroup, and that's maybe the difference that we saw in this meet with the Missouri Tigers tonight. Elisa Sharametta for Missouri, a career-high 9.95 on beam. That was so impressive. Amaya Marshall wins the all-around, and Missouri goes 196 for the first time this season, their highest score of the season. We talk a lot about Missouri, but Bridget, still a nice meet for Auburn tonight.
Auburn really impressed me. They were so controlled on everything they did, which is really nice to see. They have so much power to their athletes and their tumbling and their vaults, but they really are learning how to control that, and that's half the battle. I mean, you have big skills, but you've got to learn to control them. And yes, did they have some mistakes tonight? Sure, but they can take those mistakes, get rid of them, know that in order to be on top, you have to be able to bounce back, and that's what they did tonight. They were able to keep that momentum going. Even when there was a little break in that momentum, they were able to get it back.
Great night for both squads. Missouri is going to pick up the win with their highest score of the season. The Tigers bounce back after that bye week and make a statement inside the Hearn Center tonight. Amaya Marshall wins in the all-around representing Missouri. The Tigers get it done. The Missouri Tigers, that is. They win at home in Como. 196-175 over Auburn, 196-1.